And good evening, Nuke Marine here. Welcome back to Lesson 3 of Remembering the Katakana by, James Hazig. Actually, this is going to be Lesson 9 of the series, but this will be Lesson 3 of the Katakana series, Lesson 9 overall of the Kana series. Last two lessons, what we did, the first one was covering kana that looked similar to its hiragana counterparts. Second one was katakana that happened to have similarities to kanji, not too many to begin with. And now we're going to go into a slightly longer lesson. This will cover 9 characters, but here we're going to have where there's certain similarities to these to the hiragana that it's attached to, and we'll go into explanation that. I think the next lesson will be a lot more fun, or at least it is when I teach in the class. So let's bring up the writing board. There we are, and just to show you pretty much how far we've gone, and we're slowly filling in the gaps. So let's start again with our blank canvas, and I'll be guiding you on through. As always, if there's any questions, post it in the comments. I'll try to hopefully explain or add any answers as there need be to the annotations to the video itself. And let's begin. First character we're going to cover is right here. And if you remember this was ko for comb in the case of the hiragana. But what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate is, if you look at it, this is 2 strokes. So the katakana is also 2 strokes. But we'll look at this one here first. So go across and come slightly down. But here for the stroke, imagine that stroke, but we're going to go across and straight down. All right. Then we're going to pick up our pen, and then of course we're continuing on with this line here. So that's where we're going to go for the katakana, which is going to start here and complete the character. So it's an angled stroke, a corner, corner if you will, and then second stroke is finishing off. So you kind of sort of follow the flow of the hiragana equivalent. Some words that use this ko that we know so far is ko chi, kochi, and that's for coach, kochi. I don't know if they're referring to the handbag or the actual coach of a sports team. Next word, di ko, stretch out, riko, riko, and I'm not sure what that means, but I don't think it's a name, but riko. This is ko, as you know, it can be voiced. We did this. The ko becomes go, as in go away. So if we wanted to, we do it there and there. So that becomes go chi, and go. And for that, we're done with one character. Let me pause and carry on for the next character. Alright, so there is ko. Next character we're going to cover, scroll down a little bit, is this one. Probably remember it from the number tsu. Instead of 2, it's the number tsu. In this case, I'm going to teach you a couple ways to remember it. Now, the way Hazig teaches it is, if you look at the flow of the tsu, and what we're going to do is think of 3 strokes. So, kind of like so was 2 strokes, it's going to be 3 strokes. And it's going to look very similar. Then I'm going to stress the point. So, let me draw it first. It's going to, I'm not going to draw it first. Let me draw. It's going to be 2 short strokes, and then a long stroke going down. So think from top to bottom, short, short, long. Kind of like with so was short, long, and then we just sort of angled it together. We're going to do the same here. We're going to angle these 2 strokes together. So the first 2 strokes angles in, and the last stroke angles the other direction, just like we did with so. Now, another way to remember this is look at the flow of the su, and then so the first stroke is going to be near the beginning of the stroke, second stroke going further in, then we're going to come here, and then right around here, again, if we're looking at the flow of the su, we're going to finish off with the last stroke. And that's kind of, so there are 2 ways again to look at it. There is the writing the strokes along the flow of the character. The other one is to also remember is about we're dealing with just 2, these strokes are going down. So tsu and so, both of them are downward strokes. That in which case all we're doing is just angling them together. Now, I will be honest, these two characters and the other ones will be introduced are confusing to students of beginning Japanese. It's very easy to confuse the group and to distinguish them. Even with a lot of training, when you start seeing it in native Japanese settings, it is easy to confuse these characters once we introduce all four of them. So that's why I'm going to be stressing them over these next few lessons. Now, that's su. It can be voiced, but let's do some practice words first. Su, na, suna, tuna. So this is the word for tuna, suna, and we're just going to actually reverse the two characters. Na, tsu, natsu, or nuts, cashews or pecan. So nuts, suna, nuts. Now, again, it can be voiced. So the tsu becomes almost like a dzu or kudzu, z. So if we voice it, zuna, na zu, na zu. And we could have a ku, so kudzu, but na zu. Just for voicing practices only. Alright, that's the second character. Let's pause and go on to the next one. Okay, 2 characters down, about 7 more to go. Next one we're going to introduce is sort of like with su. It's going to follow in a pattern. So let's go. This one you remember is the sheep hook. It can be voiced to be G. So sheep. Now, the way Hazig teaches it is if you look at it, if you look at the flow of the character, it's almost like you're gonna be almost like doing a dotted line approach. So first stroke, right there, second stroke, and then follows up. So let's do it along with the she. So that's kind of sort of what he's explaining is happening. Is the strokes follow along the path of the drawing of she from hiragana. What I'd like to point out, and again, is this is what helped me, that's why I always point out, is similar to su and so, she is written with 3 lines. But try to think of it as 3, instead of 3 vertical lines, now we want is 3 horizontal lines. So 2 short horizontal lines, and then 1 long horizontal line. All we're going to do is angle these 2 together. So 2 down, then the last one we're going to angle up. So, and if you just think of it like that, and she, think of the way it flows as reminding you of the character she from hiragana, but also about remembering about the angles on it being horizontal. Again, just helps you distinguish the differences between how to write the she for katakana versus the su for katakana. Alright, some words that use this. She, ka, go. Chicago, the city of Chicago. Next one. Pe, stretch it out, so pe, and we're going to introduce the voice mark here, so she becomes G, as in Jeep, so pe, G, page, page of a book. Alright, and Jigago, if we wanted to, just to make a fake word if we need to. So, she, similar to su, just in the direction of the strokes. Changes it. Again, it's easy depending on the fonts that you run into, to where these 2 are very difficult to distinguish. But normally by that time, just based on the context, you can figure out what the word is meant to be, if that situation ever does come up. Alright, so let me pause and carry on to the next character. Okay, and there's she, and sort of the 2 examples I used to help get the point across. Next character. First character you learned in hiragana. Now it's a... So this is may have a M sound to it, may have an N sound to it, depending on the word being used in Japanese. You get that over time, distinguishing which is which. It's like a hando or senpai, so it would still be this character that's used. Situation just dictates pronunciation. point of here, though, is teaching how to write this character. Now, similar to how she and si, if you look, this is a two-stroke character, but if we follow the flow here, the first stroke is going to be covering on this downward, and then down here will be an upward. So let's just write it out for it. So that would be the first strokes, nice downward strokes, or like with she, but we're only going to do one of them, and then assuming we're coming down here, we're going to then do this upward stroke. So it's almost like this is kind of what he's demonstrating. There's a stroke, and then as you get down, now instead of this curve, you're just going to make it follow it up with an upward stroke. Like I demonstrated with so, she, and si, this is n. It's like a short horizontal stroke and a long horizontal stroke. They just happen to be angled into each other. So the stroke starts down here and goes all the way up to here. So now that we've got all three of these, let me just pause and show them back to back real quick. So we had was this short down and a short long one angled together. That became so. We had two short and one long going vertical strokes going down, which became si. Now we have is a short horizontal, long horizontal that became n, which we just covered now. Then two short and one long that become she. And this little thing, again, learned it on the remembering the hiragana or remembering the kanji website or the forums. Someone displayed this, and it made complete sense. It's like, okay, now I understand. This is how it worked for me. If it also works for you for this character, go for it. Whatever helps you remember. This is about you remembering the kana, not just Nuka Marine's version of what you should know of how to remember the kana. The end result is all that matters in this case. But I'm just pointing this out. Reason being is by having this pointed out, you probably are at a stronger position than a lot of college students that are learning this in order, because they may not have put two and two together that about the similarities of these characters and the small little things that can help remember it. And so hopefully, as by the end of this, you'll be able to write this out in a much more fluid way than an average college student is taking first year Japanese, assuming that it's a good class and they're teaching hiragana, katakana before anything else. All right, so some words that use this. Again, legitimate Japanese words. There just happen to be loan words converted to Japanese pronunciation. So we have the ha, but we're going to do plosive, so pa. So there's the n, so pan, which would be bread if we just stop there, but let's add one more. Because of the direction of the strokes, we know that's su, so pants, pants, pair of pants. Might also refer to panties, pants, since sometimes they'll say for a pair of pants is zubon. Next word, chi, ki, chiki, chicken, chicken, chicken. So chicken. All right. So pants, chicken. Let's see. We can do some close. So panzu and chigin. I don't know. This could be a fake word or whatnot. Who cares? It's all for fun. All right. We'll pause there and go on to the next character. All right. Fourth character. Now we get to have some fun. This next character should be pretty simple. It looks very similar to its hiragana counterpart. Let's write out the hiragana first. Nope, it's not she. What do you got to do? Or depending on how you want to write it. Okay, so either way, this is the, remember, if you need mo fish, so shipuk gives you two shipuks. If you want to hear it was mo fish. Now, the character, if you saw this one, this is drawn first, then we finish it off with the two strokes, almost like the ko symbol or whatnot, but mo. In the katakana case, so what we're gonna, if you need to think of mo, you can think of Nemo, finding Nemo. Perhaps it was these two fish looking for the other smaller Nemo fish, if you want to, because all you got to do is do kind of like ni, which is two strokes, ni, and then this last one is going to be a katakana shipuk if we need to. So we're just gonna, in fact, I'll draw it next to it, is almost like the club foot, if you would. All right, ni mo, Nemo, and really that would be it. let me do it a little bit better than that. Okay, it's almost kind of like ends there. Now, really, that's as simple as it gets. Uh, so it's sort of like a mixture of ni and the she, which is sort of like here was the she and the ko. Uh, and I'll leave it at that because it's pretty, again, a simple character. Just a matter of which strokes are drawn first. Now, the words that use this character: mo, na, ko, monako, or monoko, how we pronounce it in English, monoko. I'm sure we're butchering it. And the next word, kind of a portmanteau of sorts: di, mo, ko, rimokon. Now this kind of demonstrates a little thing about how Japanese do their abbreviation, because it's an abbreviation of remote control. So rimo, remote, kon, control. So they usually take the beginning pronunciation of each word and then combine them together. So you'd have a similar one with personal computer. So they'll say paso for personal, and then kon. And it's just again just a general way in which, because again they don't like that's just again how some of the American words or loan words are uh, shown in Japanese. So you may not have guessed what this meant without me telling you or looking it up. But it's pretty simple to understand how they arrived to it, and then after that, the pronunciation is no problem. If we wanted to do again, just to do some quick practice, if I wanted to mana go, ri mo gon, sure, just for fun. So we'll pause there and go on to the next character. All right, that's our fifth character or so. Let's go on to this one. This one actually should be pretty easy. Now, the character we're learning next. This one is, I kind of liked it because of the symbolism of it, but no. No. Now, the character, all we're going to concentrate on is this little part right here. So, imagine you're drawing the no, and then stop right there before you complete it. And you are done. That would be the no. So, it's basically just the very first stroke of the no. Now, also, if you remember she, or I'm sorry, if you remember so or su, it's pretty much that same stroke right there. That's the no. So it starts at the top, comes all the way down. That would be no. Some words that use this: no, and then stretch out. So no. So that's what we think of as being the English word no. So no, and I think that they're just referring to a English version of no as an e. Next character or next word. So we do is the ki, and then what we're going to make it is actually a double character. So a kya, kya no, canyon, Canon, which is Canon. I think is the camera company Canon. And also that ki ya could also become a ya. But anyway, so that's no. Let's pause it. Move on to the. I think we're down to about the last 2 or 3 characters. Alright, now the next character, and again, kind of like the theme here, is that all these katakana characters are kind of following, or kind of based on the stroke positions of the hiragana equivalent. So this one we're going to have to go with a little creativity. But let's do the character. So what I was saying is, you remember about the little red riding cape and a no parking sign. So she did her little cape there, and then what we did was like the no parking sign. So we did the no. But what we're going to do, and just to bring in a little color here, let's see if we can do this. What we're going to do though is concentrate on this part right here and this right there. So that would be the me. So this is me, and for me it was the maypole dance. hanging the cape on the no parking sign to make the maypole dance, and that's the part of the character we're going to be worrying about. Now, for that, what we're going to do is the first stroke we're going to do is sort of like the no stroke, so we'll do the stroke for no. Also, if it was a stroke for so, we're going to stroke for su, but that stroke right there. And then bring the pen up right here to the middle. The second stroke is going to be right in there. We kind of sort of create what I was pointing out right here, which is the internal portion of me. So this creates the katakana for me. So we do the downward stroke, and if we just raise the pen up just a little bit, we're right in position to complete the me. And it's almost like a little drop across the front right there, and that's me. Characters that use this, or words that use this character, me. And then we're going to do mo, memo, and it's memorandum or memo. Nothing complicated there. Next one, we'll come right over here. Me. Then, in fact, I should say this is that once I taught the su, is that same rule applies in katakana as in hiragana. The small su becomes a glottal stop. So this right here would be me, small glottal stop or a small pause. Ka. So instead of Mecca, it's Mecca, Mecca, or Mecca as in the holy city of Islam, Mecca. So memo, Mecca, and then of course we're reminding you it's a glottal stop. But here instead of the small su for hiragana, it's the su for katakana. Same rules apply. Mecca. It's a glottal stop. All right. Again, we'll pause there and carry on for the next character. Getting close to the end. Well, guess I have to apologize. I thought this lesson was going to have 9 characters. In fact, there's only 7 for this lesson, so we can end it there. So what we can do is do a quick recap. Here are the characters we went over. And again, all these are dealing with katakana that can, using the stroke order, or actually the stroke direction of the katakana, of the hiragana, you can then use that as kind of a remembrance tool or a memory tool for the katakana equivalent. So ko followed the, if you kind of blink, if you look sideways, kind of follows the same stroke order as ko, tsu, shi, I also wanted to remind you about so in there, and mo, no, and me. And as you can see here, we're filling in more and more of these characters. I think it should be 6 plus 4, about 17 characters. We'll add about 27 over the next 3 lessons. And again, the next lesson I'm looking forward to teaching you. I have a lot of fun with when I teach it in class, in front of a class. So I definitely will enjoy teaching it over making a video out of it. And again, any questions that you feel, please feel free to ask in the comment section. I'll try to get to it if I can. All right, thank you very much, and see you in the next lesson.